So, Words on Bathroom Walls is the story of a teenager struggling with his schizophrenia. To basically just he wants to essentially kind of have like a normal life, but fears that he can't quite have that because he feels like schizophrenia is interfering with all of it. Now, to depict schizophrenia within the character of Adam, who's played pretty effectively here by Charlie Plummer. They choose the very fantastical route of showing what he views in his mind. So in his mind, there's basically the darker thoughts are kind of manifesting as like actual dark voices. So whenever his like schizophrenia starts acting up, he starts hearing this luring voice that says Adam, Adam, and then eventually like this dark mist will come about, and so Adam kind of forms like this defense mechanism where he's assembled like this team to help him out. Like he's got like the muscle. So this guy with the bat who comes in, he has kind of like a muse, I guess. This woman who tries to encourage him, and then there's this kind of guy with his shirt open who kind of provides the like. I'm not quite sure what he provides, but he's a quirky character, so I guess he also occupies Adam's mind. Now, I feared like from this route, I feared that the film was gonna get a little bit too crazy with itself. Like it was gonna get way too caught up in these special effects, especially since most of the special effects here to show like the darkness looming around Adam are not too effective here. That being said, the drama that's being tried to the drama weaved around his visions is actually pretty compelling. Like I like the idea like the schizophrenia that he has that just like protrudes into his mind starts affecting how stuff happens in the real world. So it's kind of like how like in movies when someone sees like a ghost and they're trying to get the ghost to like shut up or get away from the ghost and they end up kind of embarrassing themselves in public. It's essentially like that for Adam, and he realizes that that it could be he might make mistakes that he's afraid of making. Like for instance, they show very early on when he's in a science classroom, and because he's freaking out over his visions, he accidentally spills some acid on one of his classmates. And he kind of fears like that he can't fit in the way that he is, and so he keeps trying medication. His mother is struggling to to find something that works for him, and it's hard for her as well because she had to deal with her husband leaving her when I think Adam was just starting to be a teen, and so like they have this whole prologue where Adam kind of like grew up trying to help his mother out. He took an interest in cooking, so he could be heading to cooking school, but he fears that might not be possible if he can't control his schizophrenia. Now that seems to change, however, once he gets to a Catholic school, and he meets the snarky character of Maya, played by Taylor Russell, and she's kind of like she's kind of one of those students who kind of like runs her own little racket within the school of like selling papers, and she kind of like knows everybody, and so when she sees Adam, she's kind of like who's this kid? Why are you talking to me? But of course, since Adam is good at cooking. She starts trying his cooking. It's like, oh, damn, I was going to make fun of you, but I don't know if I can. So, of course, like a romance is going to bloom over this. And, of course, you see this coming, too, because in the same scene where they first have that meeting at lunch, they mention, a prom's coming up. You going to do anything for the prom? And Maya's like, no way, I'm not going to the prom. I don't have anyone to dance with. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen in this film. So it's pretty much telegraphed that they're going to have a romance here, if not obvious by the posters and the trailer. It becomes pretty obvious by that point where we're headed. That being said, the route that this film takes, I actually kind of dug because it showcases how Adam's concerns, but also Adam's struggles to try to like empathize with other people. Like Adam feels that he's alone in trying to conquer this. Especially since like a lot of the information he's telling us, it seems like he's telling a therapist in these kind of like fourth wall breaking moments. Like he explains, what it was like growing up, what it's like taking different prescriptions to make them work. But then he finds that, once he starts talking to Maya and he takes this new medication, hey, you know what? Things are actually working out. I'm not hearing the voices anymore. These characters I have in my head, they're starting to leave. Like, could it be the medication or could it be Maya? But then we find out there might be some side effects with the medication. He starts to suspect what could be his new dad, played by Walton Goggins. And I love this kind of sleight of hand too, because at first you like, based on like Walton Goggins' previous roles, you immediately think, oh, he's bad news. That's totally the villain. Yeah, he's out to sabotage Adam, just as he believes, because Walton Goggins. But it's kind of interesting because Goggins is actually fairly toned down in this film. That when it's revealed that no, he's actually just trying to help, and even when he's being pushed away, he's trying to do the right thing, even if that means like backing off at times. And so there's this wonderfully empathetic moment towards the end of the film where he connects with both his mom and this man who's going to marry his mother. And like on one level, it's kind of a little off-putting because it kind of puts the onus on Adam. But I kind of like that too, because it also gives him something to conquer more than just his schizophrenia in terms of like, trusting people, which I think really ties well into the film here. And it's quite a feat. Like the back and forth between Adam and Maya, I think works well in both scenes. I think it's a little forced and clunky. Like, okay, like their initial meeting in the lunchroom is like, okay, I see all the signs, I get it. Like they're kind of like just hammered in really quickly. But then I think once we get to the second and third act, I think they really come into their own with these roles. That there are a lot of moments in the third act, especially, where it could have gone so melodramatic and hyped up the tragedy too much, and it thankfully doesn't. It approaches it very, very sincerely, which I kind of didn't expect for a film that had this, these fantastical special effects. Like anytime the voice looms, the lights darken and the tone changes into darkness. And Adam's characters warn him, "Run, Adam, run! The darkness is coming to get you." Like it's a superhero film or whatever. There's also like there's some off tones here and there. Like at one point, Adam starts seeing visions of the Catholic principal's office on fire, and it's treated more as kind of like funny and quirky rather than just being kind of like mentally draining on him. So like they treat it for laughs. Like at the end of that scene, they asked him like, "How are you feeling, Adam, about attending this Catholic school?" And he unironically says, "I'm all fired up." How's that for a joke? So yeah, there's a lot of ways that this film could have failed. And I was surprised how it just kept slowly winning me back as it kept going along, where it more or less earns its romance by the end. By about the halfway point, I was like, yeah, you know what? They've kind of earned the expected prom dance that we saw coming. Yeah, you know what? Why not? They worked for it. These actors are pretty damn good. I like that we get to empathize with a lot of the characters here and see all of their perspectives, and just to see everyone come together in the end. Yeah, it's pretty soapy here and there, but I mean, it's a romantic teen drama, which could fit into that subgenre of teens with a disability. We've seen those films like 5 Feet Apart and Everything and all those types of films. But yeah, this is actually one of the more effective films I've seen here, especially since I don't feel like it uses schizophrenia as much as the central crutch for trying to evoke the drama from this story. Like, it doesn't feel like it's the primary concern of Adam's mind. It is fairly at the forefront for being in his current mental state, but I like how it also focuses on Adam trying to comprehend these relationships and being able to process them as well. Like it feels like Adam kind of starts to lose his mind just a little bit when he gets like bad news from his mom, when he hears like how far her relationship is going with Goggins. So there's little bits here and there that I think work for the special effects, for as like kind of jarring as they appear in this film. I think it for the most part, for what this film is aiming towards, I think it mostly works. So, for words on bathroom walls, 3.5 out of 5 stars.